Hi friends, Renee Keys here with Carolina Creative, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here with another card making idea for you. Today I want to talk about and show you how to use up some frames, leftover frames. So here's an example where I had cut a scalloped frame and used the outside piece, and then I took the next smaller size die cut from these scalloped contours and I punched a smaller piece out because I needed something this size. And now I've got a leftover piece. And this has been laying here for a couple of weeks. It's like, what am I going to do with this? Well, there's a lot of things you can do with this. It's still a frame, and it can be used a lot of different ways. And I'm going to put a piece of Designer Series paper behind it as the start for my card. So I measured this, and it was 4 inches long by 2 3/4, just under 3. And so I've taken a piece of paper from the Unbounded Beauty, and I love this. It's very busy, and that could be a very pretty card. I really liked the more subtle behind it with the white frame, and I'm going to pair that with the Pretty in Pink, so it'll coordinate as a card base. So let me flip the camera down and show you what I'm working on today as a way to use up some of these frames. The first thing I want to do is just assemble this into one piece. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of the frame that I want to use, and go ahead and then adhere the Designer Series paper. I've got a big blob right there. Spread this out. And this way I'll be able to handle this as one piece once I've assembled it. So yeah, it goes on straight. You can see how it covers all the edges, but it doesn't peek through behind the scallops. So that is now my piece that I'm going to use as a focal point. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside so I can start assembling this card from the inside out. And I went looking for just a sweet little sentiment. This is going to be a birthday card. I debated several different sentiments. So I found a sentiment that I really like from an old set, and it says, "You are every bit of wonderful." And then because my stamps are sitting right here for the layers of beauty, I grabbed the little flower and leaf stamp, and I thought, well, I'm just going to add a few of these because it kind of matches the inside or the outside of this card. So let me just put that there, and I'm going to do another one down here on the bottom. Just adds a little bit of interest on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble this. Helps take the cap off from the inside out, and that way I won't have to reopen this. Okay, glue this down, and then we'll go ahead and finish the card front. So I've got Pretty in Pink as a card base. I now have the frame, and it's really pretty as it is. You could very simply put a sentiment across the front. I had some sentiments laying here that I had already punched out. So these are die cut. Sweet message, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. This was stamped in Petunia Pop. So it's the next brightest of the in colors in the pinks. And I think it just makes a nice contrast. So you could easily do that. I also found laying around in the same color, a scalloped oval. And I thought, oh, that matches my pink, and I'm gonna pop this off and give it a little accent. And then I just took some white linen ribbon and tied a simple bow. So you can see how this is gonna go together. Very simple. This is just gonna take me a matter of minutes. So let me go ahead and put some Stampin' Seal on the sides here. This is a big enough piece that you could actually put dimensionals behind it and pop it right off and make it 3D, but I'm going to do that with my sentiment here. So I'm going to do that. Now what I'm thinking is I will go ahead, there's two ways to do this. I could glue the oval flat and then pop this off, or I could glue the sentiment to the oval and then put dimensionals behind that and pop that whole thing off. And that's the way I'm leaning. I will have to put because it overhangs, that could flatten. So I will need to put a little bit of dimensional behind there, but I think that'll work. So I will get my liquid glue and just put glue on the backing of this die cut sentiment. I'm going to center this across just like that. My dimensionals are sitting right here. So now I will put some support behind this. It looked like it was crooked on the back side, but it's not. It's just the way the sentiment is designed and the way it is punched out. So I will put some behind here just to give it support. And then I'm going to use my little mini, I keep them all right here, my little mini dimensionals to give those edges some additional support. There we go. Now let's pop all of these backings off, just like that. One didn't want to come. Okay. And so I've got, you know, the lacy scallops in the white frame. I've got a repeated scallop in the oval here. And it does go edge to edge. I could have turned the card the other way. I could have made it go this way. I didn't like the way the oval fit, and I like the fact that I see more of the paper when I ran it this way. So it's going to go up and down. And so now a couple of glue dots on my little bow here. There they are. I've got this linen ribbon ties really nicely, so I do like the way it handles. That glue dot is still stuck to my finger. It did not want to let go. Okay, and I'm just going to put that, well, it could go above, it could go below. I think I like it above. And I'm going to let it kind of overlap on that oval just a little bit. So there you have it. I just very quickly used a leftover frame, cut a piece of designer series paper to fit behind it, and make that a focal point. Picked, I had a scrap here, and so picked, I stuck with the same color, used a sentiment. You could stamp right on that oval. That would be just as sweet. You could heat emboss on there. It would work equally well. And then made a sweet card as a birthday card. And so there you have it. There's a great way to use up frames. I'll show you another example I did the other day. I had punched with the postage stamp punch this designer series paper, and I used that. And so I had this leftover frame. So the same concept. I put a contrasting color behind it. This should be Highland Heather, and I've got the very light, it's either Purple Posy or Fresh Freesia behind here. So because I had already the lavender here, I went back to that Stamp and Die set. And of course, when I'm punching out flowers, I do a bunch. So I just made an entire bouquet of lavender. Put some green, so there's some shaded spruce greenery in there, made it, tied a little bow with some linen thread, and made a bouquet. And this did become a sympathy card. On the inside, it does say with sympathy. But went back to the lavender to use the paper and the die cuts, and used a leftover frame that was laying on my desk. So a quick way to use up those frames. Don't let anything go to waste. Thanks for joining me today. If you like what you see here, you can find me either at Carolina Creative or hashtag Carolina Creative. And you can reach me at stampinup.net if you like the projects or the products that you see here. Thanks for joining. Stay tuned for the next video.